Hello, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you guys are good. Hope you're having a great day or night, no matter where you are. So, for those of you who have not been following us and you're new, welcome. We have been covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly 6, Jack 4 were reported missing on May 2nd by their mother and stepfather, um, and have not been seen or heard from since. If you have not caught any of our past content on the case, please make sure you go back and check all of that out for all the latest information. Now, there is something that I want to talk about with Malaya. I've talked about Daniel and his involvement. Um, I mean his involvement. Sorry, don't get me wrong. His involvement as far as cooperating with the police, talking to police, being active with the media, wanting to take a polygraph test, all the this, that, and the other thing. But right, I just want to talk a little bit about Mom Malaya Brooks Murray real quick. All right, so again, we are going to check out her plea that she made the day after. So was it the 3rd? I want to say. Mm. Well, she made it a plea, and we're going to watch that because we want to hear what she had to say. It's not so much a plea. It is a plea for the public's help, but that's not really how it came across. So let's just take a listen. Okay, the volume on this is real low, but let's just take a listen to what she had to say. Now, this again was the day after. So they were reported missing Friday, May 2nd. This was Saturday, May 3rd. And we have not heard one word from her since. So it has been 2 weeks, it's been 16 days since she has come out publicly and said a word about her missing kids whatsoever.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens.
See, here she says they just happened to get out the sliding door. But realistically, she would not know that. Realistically, she would not be able to stand there and say, my kids, I know they got out that sliding door. Because she says that her and her boyfriend, husband, whatever he is, was sleeping. But here she is again telling us that the children went out that door. But she, as a mother, you wake up, right? Your kids are nowhere to be found in your home. You look outside, you don't see your children. You don't assume, you don't go, okay, well, I know for a fact that they walked out that sliding glass door. Like, that's just not how it works. So you have to think that this was a planned thing. Like, the story was a planned story. It's exactly why when she starts out, she starts by saying, so what happened was, because she really, realistically, logically, if she was sleeping, she cannot tell you what happened. She would have no idea of what happened, especially since nobody seen the children outside of her home that day. Nobody saw the children anywhere. So she cannot tell you what happened, but yet here she is telling us what happened. So what happened was, I heard them playing next door, or in the room next door. I went to sleep. I fell back asleep. Um, my kids went out the sliding glass door, the silent sliding glass door. She couldn't possibly have this information to tell us, especially since police have no idea what happened. No idea whatsoever, except Daniel and Malaya's story that they walked out the side door by themselves at 4 and 6 years old to wander off, never to be seen or heard from again. But yet, police, there were no scents, no tracks found outside, no scents from the dog. So, well, let me clarify that, because there was a scent that tracked by the driveway. However, the kids are, according to the parents, outside playing all the time. So you can't really say 100%, you know what I mean, that sense from that. But the police have no reason to believe that the children were abducted from the property. So
Full as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing.
this is clearly a story that they, and we'll get into all that, which if you haven't seen, like I said, my past coverage on this, you're really going to want to check that out, because with the whole big, huge party at a known drug house that happened at this location on Wednesday or Thursday night, which I believe was Wednesday night going into Thursday morning, just my opinion, based off the research that I've done. Hold on. I want to go back just a second.
Outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And
See, like she says right there, they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. They are aware of it still. They're just going with the story that they walked out the door. There's no neighbor that reported seeing them outside. They weren't seen by anybody driving by playing outside. So for her to say they were outside playing, but we didn't know it at the time, where is this information coming from? Unless it's the plan. This is the plan. So whatever really happened to Lilly and Jack, this is the plan to cover. This is the cover plan for whatever really happened to 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, that her and Daniel concocted together, in my opinion.
And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children.
And it is very odd that right there, she said, so you've all heard the expression, you're very happy-go-lucky, right? They're very happy-go-lucky kids. You're a very happy-go-lucky kind of person. That's not what she says. She says they're very go-lucky kids. It's very weird. And sometimes, like, statement analysis comes out, you know, sometimes things come out in just the way you word things on purpose, like on a subconscious level. So it almost makes you wonder, especially with everything we have seen from that home. It makes you wonder, I mean, did they not have a happy life? Was that left out on purpose? Was the word happy not included for a reason? That is very odd. Listen to her here. At first, I thought maybe I just missed, like, you know how the saying goes. So I was like, did I just miss? Maybe she didn't say it, or maybe she said it and I just missed it, you know?
With really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They
And you got to think of that too. In the beginning, boyfriend, Daniel, partner. And it is weird too that she uses the word partner instead of saying my husband or my boyfriend. She says my partner. I don't know. It just gives me weird vibes, especially with how this whole thing has gone. And yet it's been 17 days since the children were reported missing, and there has not been one single piece of evidence found leading to the children that the public knows of anyways, right? That the police have said anything about. We know the police have taken in 35 people for that were are very close to the family for questioning, for interviewing. So we're really hoping that something useful comes out of that because I mean it's absolutely crazy. But like I said, the plan. She has a script, he has a script, in my opinion. And the cover story was, okay, we're going to tell them that we were sleeping, the kids got out, and blah, blah, blah. Because again, with it's not like they could just walk out and it's a neighborhood, right? You're talking rural, very, very rural, wooded, thick wooded areas, like trained searchers were getting hurt going into these places looking for these children. So at 4 and 6, slightly autistic, according to the mother, if they were to just wander into these woods, I do not believe they would have gotten very far. And I believe they've police would have found evidence, cuts from branches or, a book bag that she supposedly took, which again, nobody really knows. But something would have been found at this point if they because I don't believe they would have made it that far.
They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone.
And right now what she is doing is telling you how quick they are to talk to strangers. How they will just they love people. They will just go talk to strangers. They will go up to this person. They would go with anybody. They're just, social friggin' butterflies. Painting this picture that maybe they got out and they were abducted. But even police have come out and said, listen, we have no reason whatsoever to believe these children were abducted. Like, no reason. That's why an Amber Alert has not been issued because there's no evidence or reason for police to believe that these kids were abducted. But this is what they're trying to do. Because if their kids aren't found in the woods, well, then they must have been abducted by somebody, right? That's what these parents are saying. So they're setting it up so that that it would not be a far stretch for somebody to say, hey, little kid, come talk to me, get in my car, and the kids just go.
They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing.
Which, by the way, not for nothing, I just want to add this in that, in my opinion, it is neglectful to teach your children not to be like that, to teach your children not to be your kids need to be socially aware. Even young kids need to know about stranger danger. And to let kids just be like that, if that's in fact how they are and it's not just part of the story, that in my opinion is neglectful as well.
For an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Okay. Now, I want to, now that I've gone through and I've pointed out, and this is actually my second video on just her interview, on just this one specific interview, because, well, A, it's the only one that she's done. And B, oftentimes taking a re-listen, you address things that you might not have addressed the first time. But now that I've gone, so again, if you have not seen that video, make sure you go back and check that one out. But now that I've gone through and I've pointed these things out, I want to kind of just let it play through all together so you can hear it without the breaks, so you can hear it without my interruptions, and see if it doesn't just hit you a different way. Also, 17 days. So she did this one on the 3rd. So 16 days. She has not spoken out publicly on social media. She has not posted anything. She is not posting missing flyers like online. She is not spreading any awareness whatsoever and not publicly speaking whatsoever on her children. That is very odd to me. Normally, you see mothers that are nonstop pleading for the public's help or pleading to whoever may have the children, pleading for their children's safe return. It's very, I believe what she's doing right now was the plan. I believe that was the plan. After the police searched her house and searched their vehicles and found what they found, listen, whether or not CPS said, listen, you have to take, if you don't want us to take the baby, you have to leave, because I know that's what a lot of people are saying. Some other people are saying, no, she got kicked off the property by Daniel's mother. Her and her family had to go. So there's a lot of things going around right now. But the one thing you can say is that no innocent mother that really wants to know where her kids are is going to be hiding out like she has been. It's not what you do. You speak on those children as often as you can. You speak on the news. You keep your kids' faces and names out there, not hiding away. And again, let's talk about Daniel real quick. So he's been like super helpful as far as, talking with police, talking with the media. He's like, my family's the only one here searching. Why isn't her side of the family searching? Where's, um, volunteering for polygraph tests and giving, police took their router, their router. So all of their online activities, everything like that is being looked into, which is good. But I believe he's following his script, what he's supposed to be doing. I believe she's following hers. I don't believe this whole fight, they broke up, she ghosted him, is all, no, it's nonsense, because neither one of them have turned and flipped on the other one. Neither one of them. You didn't have Daniel saying, listen, I don't know what story she's telling you guys, but this is the last time I seen the kids and this is what happened. And you don't have her going, no, Daniel's wrong. That's not what happened. Blah, 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 blah. You have them both saying, she said they were sleeping in the room. He said they were in the room with the baby. That's what, I mean, nobody is, but you don't have him going, oh, I know, you don't have him going, well, I know she did something. She must be guilty. You don't have her going, well, he must be guilty. He must have did something. So the only thing I can say is that it appears that there's a plan being followed, that there was a plan made and there's scripts and each person has a role to play and each people have to fulfill these roles. And I just hope that, police can get down to what really happened to those kids. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about all of it. Nobody wants to see these sad endings like they are. But we live in the world we live in. Crazy, crazy shit happens every single day. All right, let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I'll see you all next time.